Ever look at like a piece of art and go, hold on, that thing sold for how much? Yeah, today we're really getting into this whole crazy art world. Specifically, Damien Hirst, the diamond skull guy, animals and tanks. Yeah, he's everywhere. And today we're going to figure out why.
That's a wild ride for sure.
It really is. And to help us unpack it all, we've got this paper, Fashionization.
Yeah.
It goes deep on how Hirst kind of, I don't know, merges art and like straight up business smarts.
Right. It's not just about creating something beautiful anymore. It's a whole production.
Yeah. And the paper argues that this whole fashionization thing, it's not just about clothes. It's about how trends, like what's hot and what's not, how that's taken over, like everything.
It's true. I mean, think about it. Phones, food, even art. There's always a new model, a new movement, a new must-have.
And the author, Tony Zohari, his point is that all these choices, it's like we're bombarded, right? So we crave what's new, what's exclusive.
We're hardwired for it. It's like that feeling of, ooh, gotta have it. But in the art world, it goes even deeper than just, I want that cool thing.
Because you're not just buying the thing, you're buying into the hype, the artist's statement, the whole story.
Exactly. You become part of something. And that's actually where the comparison to Andy Warhol comes in with his whole factory thing.
Oh, yeah, with all the assistants and everything, churning out art like a factory.
Exactly. Hirst's approach, it's kind of similar, right? Like he's got a team, this well-oiled machine that helps him create on a huge E-scale.
Which I guess begs the question, does that change how we value the art? If there's the whole team behind it, is it still the artist's vision?
Yeah. That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And it's been debated forever. Even back in the day, those Renaissance guys, Michelangelo, Da Vinci, they had workshops, assistants. It's not a new thing.
So it's more about how the artist manages it all.
It's about transparency, control, how much of the artist's soul is actually in the final product.
So how does Hirst go from, like, art school reject to, well, Damien Hirst?
Yeah.
It's kind of a wild story, actually.
It really is.
The paper actually breaks it down, uses those, what are they called? The 8 traits of success.
Oh, right. Yeah, like passion, hard work, all that.
Exactly. And it mentions that Hirst, he actually got rejected from art school at first.
Yeah, he didn't get into his first choice, which I think is kind of inspiring in a way. Even the greats get rejected.
Yeah. Total underdog story. But he kept at it, right? Honed his craft, got into goldsmiths eventually. Shows you can't just have talent. You got to have that drive.
Absolutely. And speaking of drive, there's that whole thing with Charles Saatchi, right? The art collector.
Huge moment for Hirst, meeting Saatchi.
Totally. Saatchi became his patron, which is like a big deal in the art world. Think of like the Medicis back in the day funding all those Renaissance masterpieces.
It's like having someone say, I believe in you, here's a blank check, go wild.
Pretty much. And that kind of support, that creative freedom, it allowed Hirst to think big, create those massive, sometimes kind of out there pieces that made him famous.
Right. And that brings us to, like, my favorite anecdote from the paper, this whole thing with Hirst's charity sculpture.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one. Huge, right. Full of toys.
Yeah, and it was bought by this Korean businessman. But here's the kicker. He didn't just buy it as, like, art.
No.
He saw it as a branding opportunity for his department store. Wild, right?
It's brilliant, actually. That's pure metaphysical value right there. Like, think about it. You're that businessman. You're not just buying a bunch of toys in a glass case.
You're buying that Damien Hirst aura.
Exactly. It's edgy, it's cool, it's a statement, and suddenly your department store, it's not just selling clothes, it's selling a feeling.
So it's like, come for the new fall line, stay for the existential art experience.
Exactly. And that's what makes it all so fascinating. It's not just about the object, it's the story, the association, the feeling that comes with it. Hirst, he gets that, but even with all that success, he's still made some, let's say, interesting choices.
You mean like when he decided to ditch the whole gallery scene and sell his work directly through Sotheby's?
Oh, yeah. That was a bold move. 2008, right. Right as the economy was tanking.
Yeah, what did the paper say about that whole debacle? Oh, man, that Sotheby's thing, people were freaking out.
Right. It was huge. Like, some people, they were furious, called it a cash grab, said he was ruining the art world, betraying the galleries, the whole system.
Yeah, they thought he was finished. Over.
Totally. But others, they saw it as, like, a power move.
Yeah, like he was sticking it to the man.
Exactly. Hirst going rogue. And, it was 2008. Everything was going crazy. The economy, the markets. Some people thought maybe he's just ahead of the curve. Like, this is the future of art.
So it was like, was it a genius business move or some big artistic statement? Tough to say.
That's Hirst for you. But it all comes back to that fashionization thing we were talking about.
Right, like how trends take over everything.
And how even rebellion, controversy, it all becomes a product.
Hirst knows how to create a buzz, that's for sure. Good or bad, everyone's talking.
He's selling the controversy as much as the art itself. Remember, for the love of God, that diamond skull. Love it or hate it, you can't ignore it.
It's iconic.
Exactly. So, is he an artist or a businessman? Maybe he's both. Maybe he's something totally new.
That's kind of up to each of us to decide, I guess. I mean, I'm looking at his stuff differently now, that's for sure.
That's the point, isn't it? It makes you think, what's the story behind the art? What are they trying to say? How does it make me feel? Not just, oh, that's pretty.
Makes you appreciate the whole, I don't know, the layers of it all.
Exactly.
So next time you see some crazy art that everyone's talking about, remember this conversation. Look deeper. Ask questions. There's always more than meets the eye, especially with someone like Damien Hirst.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
And that's it for our deep dive into the world of Damien Hirst. Until next time, keep those brains buzzing.